Waiting for YouTube to pick it up. What's crazy is this worked fine twice.
Of course.
And now... Okay. Now we're live. All right. So let me tell everybody on the other stream to go to this stream.
Okay.
You having fun yet?
I mean, I'm not having not fun.
All right. So we're live now. So let me just get everybody swung to this stream.
Okay.
Live now. So let me just get. If it wasn't for go to my channel, go to the stream we're not using. And then we should start seeing people pop in now. All right, so hey everybody, thanks for waiting on us. Here we are. So we'll wait for a few more people to pop in. We had a little technical difficulty. People are coming over from the other channel. So let's just give it a few minutes. Hope everybody's doing okay tonight. Let me raise my chair where I feel a little taller. Now I'm better. Wait for a few more people to pop in. They're slowly dropping in.
Oh, that's cool.
Let's see if we can get our 7 people from the other channel over to this channel. So everybody's popping in slowly. All right, we're up to 10.
Oh, goodness.
That was quick. Sorry, everybody. Hey, everybody, this is Rainy Rider. Welcome to Rainy Nights, a program where we interview some other motorcycle personalities. Tonight we have Indigo Moto. All right. Would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from, what do you ride, and
Okay.
anything else.
Okay.
And we'll cover everything else in the questions later. So.
Okay. Well, I'm in Florida, Orlando. I have a couple bikes, but you mostly see me on a purple road glide. That's what I got.
And if you went to the other live stream, there was a nice little thumbnail of her on that motorcycle. So yeah, we screwed that up good. I'll change that later. So here we are. So how long have you been riding?
I learned about 20 years ago, but I've been much more active since probably about 2012 after I had my son. So I finally got my license then. I didn't have a license before that, so it wasn't super active. But I guess about the last 10 years or so, I've been really more on the bikes, and especially the last few years, now that he's gotten older, you know?
Right on. Oh yeah. When they get older and you can leave the house, it's a whole lot easier to get out and go, all right, I'll be back in 12 hours. Make your own lunch.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't have to worry the same way.
So are you a fair weather rider, or would you consider yourself a rough rider?
I'll ride whenever, wherever. I don't really care, even if the road's not that great.
What's the worst weather you've ever ridden in?
I mean, on purpose, I mean, I've stayed on probably roads that I should have not been on, where it's completely white with rain. Yeah, probably. I mean, I think probably the worst recently was Stacy, one of the girls that I ride with, and I were coming back from, I think we were coming back from maybe Tennessee, but we hit the Florida-Georgia border, and it was like, I mean, it was white. I couldn't see anything in front of me. I know she could barely see my taillights, and she follows pretty close for me. And we were on that for probably like 10 miles before I was like, yeah, this is ridiculous. We've got to pull over. And then the amount of rain that came down in a very short period of time, it was flooding from under the overhang we were on too. So it was pretty rough. But I mean, it's safety. As long as safety is still there, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I always say those 5 rules that a biker always tells himself and then breaks. One is
Yeah.
if it gets too bad, I'll stop.
Yeah.
2 is I'll only go about 100, 150 miles and then I'll stop.
Oh, that's a lie. Yeah.
3 is I'll stop at the next off ramp.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that one.
and no, it's if it gets too cold, I'll take something. I'll put something else on, or I'll take something else off, and you
Oh,
just
I'll stop for that. I'll stop for that 100%. I am a big baby when it comes to the cold weather. I definitely wanted to stop with more clothing this morning, and I did not because I didn't have anything else in my saddlebags.
real quick. Let's say hi to Tony's on here. Sky's Limit 73. So hey Tony. Jarvis Biker, hey there. Mad Yankee says, yeah, so I did not know that Shade Tree was premiering tonight until he posted it like 2 hours ago. So we're kind of stomping between Shade Tree and Shay Lisi, so it's just a weird thing.
It's fair.
Yeah, sorry everybody, I won't hold it against you if you twitch. Billy's here, from Bleak Rides is here, and Aaron, nothing at random. I guess his mom's letting him stay up late tonight past his curfew, so he's here. So next question would be, who inspired you to ride?
Oh, my dad. I mean, I grew up around motorcyclists, but like I grew up on the back of his bike mostly, even though my mother did ride when I was super, super young. But I'm my father's daughter, 100%. He even has a road glide too, like he was the original one that I always loved. And then that's where we kind of followed. Like, it's hard to not like love a big bike like that. So yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely dad.
Absolutely. So what's the first bike you had that got you into motorcycling?
Um, See, it's hard because the one that really got me into motorcycle actually wasn't even some of my first bikes. Those were mostly like transportation purposes. I think the one that really got me into motorcycling like I am now is my Fat Boy, actually, because I've only had that one a handful of years, but that's the one that got me out of the state and turned me into who I am as a motorcyclist now. It gave me the first real freedom to like go instead of just to and from work. Like with the shadows and like even my little Honda, I had a little Honda CB400 that was like a cafe racer style bike, and that was like really, I didn't really go, but maybe across the state at most, and it was more of a commuter than anything. So what turned me into the motorcyclist now, I actually have to credit my Fat Boy for.
Right on. It's a good pick. Yeah, that's the Terminator
Yeah.
bike. That works.
Yeah.
Can
Oh
buy
yeah.
it.
She doesn't look like the Terminator bike now.
Interesting enough. So tell us about the bike you have now and how you got it, because this is an interesting story for me.
Oh, my road glide?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, the road glide, I went out for a ride just in Central Florida, which I had been wanting a bigger bike, but I went out on my Fat Boy, and then I ended up stopping at just a random Harley in the middle of the state, which I kind of knew that they had one that was kind of in my price range, but it was really ugly. It was orange with fishtails and like really terrible douchebaggy mirrors and such. um, but that's where I ended up getting it, and it turned into like not a spontaneous purchase, but I didn't expect to buy that bike that day, and that was my birthday present to myself this last year. Was riding up to that and was like, well, you know what? Here we are. Just do it. So that's kind of how that purchase actually happened. Was very unexpected. Like it was in the back of my mind for a long time, but it was a lot more spontaneous than probably should have been for somebody that's normally a little more type A.
Right on. So why indigo?
Because that's the color of my hair dye.
How did that get indigo?
Well, okay, my hair's been colored purple for almost 20 years now, actually. I've had purple hair. I've actually had all the colors of the rainbow, But I think just like with haircuts, like people feel more comfortable with a certain style or not a certain style. I've always felt more comfortable with my hair being a color, and the proper color for me happens to be purple. And I've had it short purple and I've had it long purple, but purple is the right color. It just should have been natural, but that's not
It's very
how that
fitting.
works. Yeah,
It
it
fits you
fits. Like
perfectly. Yes.
it's just the right color, and so my boring black hair is kind of but purple's much better.
Okay. So in group rides, would you prefer a big group ride or a small group ride?
Always small, always small. I don't like. I mean, now if I'm leading, I have no problem with making it a little bit bigger, but I'm a kind of a control freak when it comes to that. So I have no problem making it a little bit bigger, but I still don't like. I guess that accordingness that happens in the really big rides. So 10 and under is my ideal. Um, but if it's an escorted ride for a certain charity, maybe I'll consider it, but that's really not my thing. I even tried to do another larger group ride in Tennessee earlier this last year, and it reminded me on why I don't like doing group rides. And that was only 8 people in that one, but the lead, she was not ideal, I guess, for that one. And it just reminded me why I really didn't like it. The second day was great, but that first day kind of like reminded me on why I prefer to keep everything a little bit more controlled.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
In small groups are easier to change your mind about where we're all going to go to.
Oh yeah.
If there's five of you, you can say, you know what, instead of going to breakfast here, let's go to breakfast there. Big group, you're just kind of
Exactly.
stuck.
And if I'm leading, I'm going to go wherever I want anyway.
So you've done a lot of meetups in the last year. What was your favorite one, and which one would you do again?
Ooh.
Doesn't have to be
Okay,
the
so
same one. It could be two different ones.
yeah, okay. So the one that I am doing again for sure is I would like to do the Forgotten Angels that is in now. The next one's in March. Um, Partially because it's super close to the house. It's only like 2 hours away, so why not do that again? And then the people that I met there were really awesome. I feel like it was a very different environment than some of the other meetups that I've done. Well, hold on, slowing down. I know that was one of the questions. There was two questions
Nope,
here.
keep
What was
going.
the other question? I don't
So
know.
which one have you done? So which one would you do again, and which one was your
Okay.
favorite?
Okay. So the Forgotten Angels, I want to do again because I'm gonna do it again. Favorite? Um, I don't know. I think I appreciate them all a little bit differently because, especially a lot of the meetups that I've done, they have been either women mostly or women's only. But they were all, even those were very different. Like the Babes Ride Out in New York was completely different than Dream Roll was in Washington compared to Moto Mama in Arkansas and She Rides in Tennessee. Those were all women's events, all mostly women's camp out events. And those were like night and day. I'm not sure if I can compare any of those.
Okay,
But
you
I will
don't.
probably do Moto Mama again just because my girls. Yeah, I'll probably go up there again just because who they are.
So speaking of which, what is the draw? Obviously, all girl events are that all girls, but what is the draw to
Yeah.
doing an all girl event instead of a intramural event?
And I have nothing against doing intramural events, but with what I do with Iron Lilies, it was kind of a goal this last year to do a lot of women's specific events, partially to get an understanding of the women that were part of our women's motorcycling like community. I do love that the women's events, there's a safety net that's already there. I mean, as women, I don't know, we look out for each other differently than sometimes when I go to intramural events, that I feel like I have to watch my back, I guess, a little bit differently, especially as a solo rider. In a women's event, I don't have that. Especially like Dream Roll, wild. Like these girls are walking around butt ass naked and they feel free and happy. And while they might be doing that at somewhere like the Buffalo Chip, it's not exactly the same vibe. So it's really just a different type of experience, if that makes sense.
Totally understand. So now you play a very special part in the women's motorcycle world. Forced into it, coaxed into it, just kind of fell into it. Tell me how that worked. How did that happen?
All of it, actually. That was it. Actually, all of that actually happened. So I had been riding with my local Iron Lilies group since 2015, off and on. Not super active because, again, my son was a little bit younger and I don't really like really super big rides, and I'm naturally very introverted anyway. So I wasn't active, like super active with them. And then slowly, progressively, I got a little bit more active. And then 2020 happened, and the girl that was running it at that time, because as I said, this is kind of like a transitional period from all of it. The girl that was running it, she moved and she was taking a different path in life, I guess. And she's like, I'm not really even riding right now, so I need you to either take this or I'm going to let it die. And I couldn't do that because there's still hundreds of women that were part of this, and it was really kind of forced upon me in a certain way that I couldn't just let it die, but I was the next in her mind to take it over at the time. So I guess I just decided that it was going to happen. I was going to go ahead and run with it. There was a lot of changes that had happened though before, or while she took it over in 2020. She made our group completely free, which then gave me a group that was free with no income, that I'm like, what am I going to do with it? And girls all around the US and worldwide that I kind of had to figure out how to just work with. And here we are. Now we have a dozen branches and still thousands of women worldwide. Now either able to make their own local communities something, instead of before we were all just kind of scattered. So
Right on. And you've done a pretty good
it's been
job
a
with
thing.
it.
It's where I mean, conservatively, it's exactly where I thought it could be, and then some. Um, I I still have goals. I mean, you should have goals, and you still want to grow. But right now, in the last 2 years, I feel like it's finally, I don't know, it's not running itself by any means, but all the major kinks are kind of working its way out, and I'm getting ready for the next steps of growth when our northern states get back to riding again in their season. So it's where I want it to be, but there's definitely so much more growing that's going to happen.
And so, if there's anybody out there watching this that wanted to get into this type of stuff, whether either Iron Lilies or any kind of women's rider group, how could they get a hold of you?
Well, so we have our Instagram, iron dash or the Iron Lilies, and then iron-lilies.com. You can always log onto there and fill out our join information, and we'll contact you afterwards, and hopefully can find your local. We do have already branches in, of course, Florida, Minnesota, Maryland, Washington, Oregon, Arkansas, Illinois, a bunch of other ones. So you can even search out your local one if that's more your style. But
Right on. Hey,
if you
Sky,
go to the States, it's me.
Sky, you accidentally punched in. Tony, exit that. All right. Thanks, Tony. All right. Our next question. So you have a YouTube, you have an Instagram.
Yes.
So what do you do on your channel?
I really am just sharing my life at this point. Like, I hate being like, I don't really know what I'm doing. And even calling it a channel, I don't know. I mean, I know you're supposed to be able to have even multiple. I don't know anything about that just yet. I am very new to this. But right now, I'm just sharing what I go do because I'm riding all the time. And there's a lot of events here in
Excuse
Florida.
me.
So I've been just sharing some of the events and then our local rides. And yeah, that's about it, I guess. I don't know. It's really just me motorcycling.
Okay. So what is the stupidest thing you have ever done on a motorcycle? Something you knew you shouldn't have done, but you said, you know what? I'm gonna do it
I
anyway.
mean, I'm not really a rider like that, I guess, if that makes sense. I mean, I've taken quite a few like sidewalks, ooh. But I'm not really, I mean, with the exception of riding in the rain when I definitely shouldn't be, and, probably taking roads I definitely shouldn't be taking. Um, I'm not really a rider like that, I don't think. I hate being kind of boring.
Okay. Good enough.
Yeah.
What's your scariest moment on a bike?
Oh, when my saddlebag flew off, for sure. Mainly because I was worried I was going to kill Stacy.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, she was right behind me, and I was more concerned my saddlebag was going to slide and like knock her out, but then it just rode down the center line, so that wasn't as scary. But then I emergency stopped in front of her, and thankfully I didn't kill her doing that either. So,
Another good thing about small group rides.
yes, also very, very good. And especially with a very skilled rider, and she's just awesome in general. So, her and I ride together very well, thankfully.
Awesome. So anybody's got any questions for us, throw them into the comments. We can see the live chat going. I might not comment on everything, but if you got a real good question you want to ask, throw it on there and we will get to it. So what has been your favorite part of riding?
Um, I don't know. I mean, like, to sound super generic, it's just the freedom that it comes, and it makes me not want to kill people. Like it's the therapy. Like, I really do believe meditation doesn't mean I'm sitting still, and it clears your mind, and it makes you feel like all the shit that you deal with in life doesn't feel so bad. I don't know. I just really enjoy the quiet time that's not actually that quiet because I got some loud pipes. I don't know.
All right. We didn't get to talk about taboo questions or whatever, so if I ask something that you don't want to answer, you can always just feint to another question.
Okay.
But I did notice on your Instagram, speaking of freedom,
Okay.
you do a lot of topless shots to the canyon.
Yep.
Let's explain that, because I've seen you're not the only one that I've seen do that, and it's always a canyon.
Really?
So what about a
I
canyon?
don't know. I don't know. It's not always a canyon because I definitely have some back road ones too.
I did see a back
But
road one.
okay, yeah. I don't know if it's always to a canyon because there's not that many canyons in Florida.
Well, the most ones I
Um,
see are
yeah. Okay, fair.
like screaming to the
Uh,
sky, basically. So
yeah.
not
I
just
mean,
yours.
if I could get completely butt ass naked, I probably would. But there's only so much time before I'm like somebody's gonna show up.
You got to go further down
I
the
don't know.
canyon.
Maybe that's what I need. That's why I need the adventure bike. So
That
wild.
works.
I don't really know. It's just one of those. It's just freedom, I guess, in a certain way. I don't even know if there's any good word for that
It's like college
or
streaking.
explanation. What was that?
It's like college streaking. Something
Oh, yeah,
you just got to
maybe.
get out and,
You
and,
just
and
gotta
do.
do.
Throw
Yeah, I
caution
don't
to the
know.
wind.
I mean, that's always just been one of those things. Like, yeah, I don't have a good reason for that. I am who I am, I guess.
Well, all right, good enough. So, what has been the most
Yes, well,
frustrating part of riding for you?
traffic? I don't know. No, I think sometimes where I am located is a little frustrating. Like I am in the middle of the city. Um, I need to stay here for other reasons and such. And just sometimes it's like I would love to have already been immediately out into the middle of nowhere. So I do think my location sometimes is very frustrating. But then I'm here complaining about my location, and some of y'all dealing with snow. So I guess my frustration's pretty mild.
Oh no, I've been on four before.
Yeah.
I can relate.
Yeah, I-4 is pretty much, and I've been on I-4 way too much in the last few days. It's just terrible, terrible. And now between Orlando and Tampa, it's like one solid just brake lights. So,
Right on. Tweedledee wants to know: are you excited for Daytona?
yeah, I mean, I feel like I am, but I'm not at the same time. Daytona's been something that I've done for so many years that actually at this point it's just like part of like going to the grocery store. It's a very regular thing to do, and I actually do that where I just ride to and from each day. And I'm not really a partier, so I don't really like see it the same way. But I love going and looking at all the bikes and the mild shopping, hopefully mild shopping. And I don't know, it's always just a good time to just ride over there. So I'm looking forward to it, but I don't feel like I'm like super excited. I think I was just as excited for the Give Town that I went to yesterday. That was pretty cool. So we
Okay.
do a lot of events here. So
On the same note, so you mentioned the Buffalo Chip, Daytona,
hmm
going to
hmm
Sturgis. Are you a back street or a front street?
as
Do you like
in,
to see the main street rides, or do you go to the back
oh
streets
yeah.
and go to the stores and the shops and
So I really don't like. Okay, so like Sturgis especially, I rode down Main Street at 7 a.m. one day and 8 a.m. the following day. Um, Stopped off at one point when I said to see one place open to get my dad a shirt, and that was that. Out. So I guess it more depends on the situation at hand. Like for Daytona, I mean, I like the back ways to get to all the places to go quickly shop, and that's that. I don't really like the, as I said, it goes back to the party scene. Like, you don't really find me laid out at night and I don't know, on Main like that. So I guess it depends.
Yeah, Sturgis is on my list, but not Main Street Sturgis. It's,
Yeah.
you know, to the Mount Rushmore and to Needle Canyon, and that's what I want to see. You know,
Yeah.
you can see bikers passed out on the ground anywhere. I mean, you know, it's
Yeah,
the cool stuff
exactly.
that I want to see.
I want to see the rest. And see, in Daytona, the hard part with Daytona is there's like one place over in Daytona to do that. Like, it's the loop, and the loop's not that long, or you could cruise the beach for a little bit, or the back roads that I take to get to Daytona. So, like, it's hard because Daytona, while it's a biker rally, it is so not like Sturgis. They're very, very different.
Right on. Mr. HD Lowrider wants to know, will you be getting a PO box anytime soon?
I don't know. Maybe. I haven't really thought of that, actually. I guess probably I should. Maybe. I don't know.
I got one just where people could send me stickers, and then I wouldn't have to share. The people that I know, I don't mind having my address, but for them to get your address, you've got to put it out there on your pages, and I don't want everybody to have my address.
That's smart.
So
that's
the
something
PO box.
I should look into, because technically I made stickers forever ago, and I've been too nervous to give it to anybody, so they're just in my saddlebags for the last year and a half. But I'm going to make new ones with my Road Glide, so
Nice.
I should actually do that. So good suggestion. I will probably get a PO box soon now.
Yeah, I went to my first one and was going to hand out stickers. I just went to everybody and said, "Hey, you want a sticker? Hey, here's a sticker." And when I went to the second Forgotten Angels, there were people that knew my sticker but didn't know me.
That's awesome.
So mission accomplished. So
that's very cool.
And it gets easier.
I feel bad being like, I can't even go up to people and be like, "Hey." So the sticker part won't even come out of my mouth yet, but I'm working on it. Okay.
On the next one, stick out with the group we were talking with the other night. You're also in our other group, the weirdos. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just meet up with some of us and we'll lead you around. Yeah. Obviously, everybody knows you. Everybody knows your bike. So
yeah, it's hard to miss a bike.
At Forgotten Angels, what did it make you feel like when all these people were crowded around your bike, oohing and ahhing?
So if they're around the bike, I'm totally golden. Like, go look at the bike. It's great, because I agree. That makes me happy, because of course I'm the one that took her apart and made her what she is now. So I'm very happy with that. But it can be a little overwhelming to a certain degree too. But I can talk about my bike all the time, so that's fine. That's not too bad.
So what are your plans for the new year?
Ride a lot. No, I mean, like, I have a couple goals and such that I'm working towards. Actually, even today, I took an advanced rider class over with, what is his name? Jerry with Ride Like a Pro. And
Jerry Palladino.
Yeah, that was super fun. Well, besides the bike not wanting to work this morning, that was very stressful. So I'm trying to work towards some goals I would like to become a rider coach this year. So I took an advanced riders class just for the pure shits and giggles of it. And then I'm working to some of those things. And then, of course, riding a lot. So, and then hopefully growing my lilies a little bit more, just everything. Actually, that's really the best answer. I'm doing a little bit of everything this year. That's the goal.
All right. If you could get on your motorcycle today and not have to be back for 5 days, where would you go?
5 days.
7 days, doesn't matter.
It's all cold though. Can it be warm? Can we pretend it's warm everywhere?
Yeah. Let's pretend it's 80 degrees, nice weather, sunny, a few clouds in the sky, just enough to keep the sun right out of your eyes. Where would you ride to?
And I only get 5 days.
You get 7 days. I'll give you as many as you want.
7 days I'd go to Arizona. 5 days I'd go to Arkansas.
All right. And why?
Because I would like to see the Grand Canyon. And Arizona is like the only state that I didn't hit on that side. Otherwise, I'm missing just like Minnesota and North Dakota, and then like a couple of the Northeast. So that's bucket listy stuff. And then Arkansas, because it was way prettier than I thought it was going to be. I was completely unprepared for Arkansas when I went there on the end of this last cross-country ride.
And what time of year was that?
August.
I used to live in Arkansas. And Arkansas in the spring and fall is gorgeous.
Oh, it's so nice.
It's miserable in the winter, but
That is fair. I just think I didn't expect Arkansas to be so cool. So when I planned my route to go through there, I was kind of like, this is the last little bit of my ride. Like I wasn't being, I don't know. I would guess I was being a little bit more conservative with my miles. It's also when Stacy met up with me because she met up with me in Oklahoma. Um, so I don't think I got to see nearly as much as what that area could have offered. So I really want to see it again.
awesome. Have you inspired anyone to ride or wrench on their own bikes?
I mean, I hope so. To a degree, I think I forced Angie, which I guess if you watch some of my weird, annoying YouTube videos, you could tell that I kind of forced her to ride because she had put so many miles on her bike in just tiny little stop and go stop sign traffic. And then we put another like 500 miles on it in like a month. So I think I forced her to ride, and I'm
Which
forcing her
one?
to.
Which one was Angie?
Angie, she rides a white shadow. Um, she's on that Nova ride that I did a YouTube of, and then I also took her to Richland and Central Florida and such. So, I mean, I also took her on the onesie ride because she rides with me too.
I
I guess
did
she's
see
been on
the
a couple of
onesie
my
ride.
rides. Poor Angie, she's just been stuck coming along. And like, I do think I help a lot of people with working on their bikes, but that I don't know if I'm inspiring them or they have problems, and I'm like, well, sweetheart, you can do it too. So let's figure it out. Um, so I don't know if I'm inspiring them or forcing them on that one either. Maybe I'm
It's
more
the
of
same
an
thing.
enforcer. Yeah, I don't know.
Sometimes you got to break some eggs. So Matt's in here, 9 Wheels on 2 Wheels. He's one of our favorite guys. He's an awesome guy. Have you met Matt yet?
Yes, I did. Actually, he was at the Forgotten Angels as well.
He is a champ.
Yeah, I
Talk
like
about
him.
it. Inspiration inspires us all.
Yeah.
So, if you could tell a new rider one thing that you had to learn the hard way to save them from all the pain and agony, what would it be?
Um, oh, I don't know. I feel like most of the new writers that I work with and talk with happen to be women. So I guess my encouragement for them might be a little bit differently. But women, we get really overwhelmed, and it's very intimidating to get into motorcycling. Um, and it's really like find your people and just don't look back. Like really, it's scary, but you got to do it anyway. And you'd be surprised on how much the people come out of the woodwork as soon as you find them, and look for them. So I don't know. It's just really, I'm going to use something that my other friend said the other day, but light the candle, like just go do it. Like there's certain things about just put your boots on and go hop on that bike. The worst thing's going to happen is it might fall over if you're going slow. So,
All right. Any more questions from the audience, man? We would welcome them. I've got a couple more on my list. So here's a free range question. Tell me something that someone might not know about you that has nothing to do with motorcycles.
that has nothing to do with motorcycles. All right. I professionally showed dogs when I was a kid.
What kind?
I was a veterinary nurse for 10 years, even too.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's interesting. Tell us all about it.
Yeah. I mean, we have Newfoundlands. My parents breed Newfoundlands. So 160-pound, big, furry, like bear rugs that don't do much besides that. Um, but like when I was 8, my mom needed help showing dogs because she had more than one in a ring. So threw me on in with a dog that was twice, 3 times my size. So I started there and kind of fell into it for a long time. I don't do that. I don't even have a dog right now, but that's from, my dog passed away a couple years ago, and I was a little emotionally scarred from it, but I miss Guinness very much. So,
I can relate.
so fun facts.
I can relate to missing
Yeah.
pets. Here's one from the other
Yeah.
video. So you have a lot of tattoos. What is your most meaningful tattoo?
Oh my goodness. I do have a lot of tattoos. My most meaningful is I have one on, like, I guess it's my chest, my sternum area. It has like a symbol of a mother on it, and I do think that one was the one that I wanted because of my kid. So it's probably the most meaningful one. Yeah.
Okay. I can relate. I have a sternum tattoo, and it's the one that I wish that I wouldn't have got. So,
Really? Oh, see that one? It didn't bother me.
no, the tattoo was great. It was just the after 2 hours when the numbness went away, it felt like every time he went to touch it, it was like a wire
Yeah.
brush on my chest.
Yeah. See, and I
So,
have yet to do any of the numbing creams or anything. I think I was or I got a little tub of it, but I keep forgetting to take it with me. So maybe next week I'll remember to bring it, but I probably won't.
yeah, this one a numbing cream. It was like after they do the outline, it's numb for about
Oh, okay.
2 hours, and then once the numbness fell
Yeah.
off, it was full force. I made up for the
Yeah.
last 2 hours in force.
That's funny. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't seem to mind it, but I have a pretty high pain tolerance for the most part. So my worst one though is I have the one on my inner thigh. Oh, I was ready to be like, dude, are we done yet?
Hmm? I can't relate, but I don't even want to think about it. I am like band-aids. Ugh. All right, so how many kids do you have? You're obviously a
Okay.
mom.
Yes, I am a mom. I have one and done. He will actually be 12 this next week, next Sunday. So I have a very preteen young man, and boys are weird.
Hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely agree. Yeah, Billy says my condolences.
Yeah.
I think that was for the dog. This is coming in a little lit
Okay.
off the YouTube,
Okay, not
but
for the kid.
yeah, my condolences for the one boy. Jeez, I feel
Yeah.
bad for you.
Oh, it's eye-opening on how different boys and girls really are. So
So, is there anything else you want to tell us about yourself?
I don't really know. I just am winging it still here. That's it.
So, when you go to the camp out, you're going to meet a couple of people. They're in the leaders from Ohio, and I totally
Hmm.
want you to meet them. One's Biker Babe Beth, and
Yeah,
then
I've met her.
the other one's Road Warrior Moto. Now, she's literally, I think, the
Okay.
ringleader for the leaders up there. She owns her own
Yeah.
tribe shop. We've talked about her. I think she was in the chat when you were in our weirdo meeting.
Yes, I think
But
so.
absolutely, you got to meet her. You'd be two peas in a pod.
I love it.
So, man, this has been interesting. So, out of all the bikes you've had, of course, now you've got, your purple bike. What has been your favorite bike?
Oh, see, that's a hard question because they all have different. It's like children. Can I pick my children? Like, if I had more than one, would I tell you which one's my favorite? Like,
I would.
um, no,
Af-
I think okay. So I do think right now, if I had to be 100% honest, if I had to get rid of like all my bikes and I could only have one, I would keep the Road Glide. So if that's an answer, that's the best I got.
that
But it's
works.
because, yeah, the Road Glide gives me the opportunity to do all the things that I want to do because I can take it down the street to go to work and I could take it across the country. And I feel like I can do that with both of those. Like my poor Sportster, which still needs to be redone, um, that's not going out of Orlando if I can help it, you know? So realistically, I would keep the Road Glide, and that's probably my favorite. But, you know.
Does the Road Glide have the best stories?
Um, I don't know if it's best stories. I think my Fat Boy actually has a lot, like, internal stories, if that makes any sense. That Fat Boy got me through some shit. So I think I think that bike is the more sentimental, which is the reason that I couldn't sell her. As much as I only ride her maybe like 3 or 4 thousand miles a year now because I got the Red Glide. Um, that the Fat Boy has so much more. I mean, like the amount of times I've cried on that bike, literally either fixing it or like while riding, that's enough to fuel the poor thing. So you know. But stories, I think, with how much the road glide's seen in a very short period of time, um, those are racking up. So, but different types of stories. Actually, that's more happy stories, I think. So
Okay,
that's probably a good thing.
those are the best ones.
Yeah.
So, if you could go out and buy any bike right now, what would it be?
Oh, see, that's a hard one too, because I'm very, very focused on one of my goals. And one of the bucket list goals was to ride in all 50 states. Alaska is on my mind, and I really wanted an adventure bike to get to Alaska because it's more appropriate than my road glide. So now
Okay.
I'm like staring at these stupid adventure bikes, and most of them are like horses. But I did ride a buddy's Africa Twin the other day, and I kind of love it. So if I went and just like had money right now and just was like, well, I don't, as much as I would love an Indian Pursuit, really like that bike, to fill the need, the logical side of me would be going and buying an adventure bike in a heartbeat. And probably that one because I really liked it.
All right. Well, last question, since the audience is kind of dried up on us. So, what is your favorite short ride around your area to go to on the bike? Just I've got a couple hours to get away. I need to go somewhere. Where am I going?
Oh, I do Nova a lot. Nova is like 90 miles round trip, easy peasy, hour and a half ish, depending on if I stop. So I do Nova a lot just when I can have that chance. And it just goes out through like southeast Orlando area. It gets out. It's not even a windy road. There's like one turn, but there's no stopping for like, especially if you don't hit any of the lights, probably like 40 miles. So it's kind of nice for Orlando.
Okay. This makes no sense to me. Tweedledee.
I mean, I do a lot of riding in other places, yeah.
Okay. I didn't mean to cut you off. Tweedledee wants to know about you and Arby's commercials. So tell us about your connection to Arby's commercials.
Yeah. I'm not answering him. He's just trying to make me laugh.
Kumquat. Okay. All right. All right, everybody. So this has been Rainy Nights on the Rainy Rider channel. I've been with Indigo Moto, who's been a very gracious guest. So we're going to end this now. If you like it, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, come back, go to Indigo Moto's channel. You have actually, I think, 2 channels. I tried looking you up, and the other one came up too. So you've got Indigo Moto and the Iron Lilies.
Yeah, the Iron Lilies one is actually a really old one, and I don't even have access to it.
Oh, well, never mind that one.
Yeah, they've locked it out, so I don't know, and I can't seem to figure it out. So just mine for now. I'm gonna figure it out eventually, but that's on the goal list.
All right then. Hey, we'll just get another channel started. That's what everybody else does.
Okay. Yeah, exactly, right. As soon as I figure out mine first.
All right. If you need any chat, obviously, if you have any questions about anything, there are some absolute pros on the Discord. Get in there and in our little weirdos meeting. So that's it for tonight, guys. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit it anyway and pretend like you did, because we need the likes. We need the subscriptions. All right, guys. We're going to close this out. I hope all you guys have enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next week.